Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about pain of the ass. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, why do people get butthurt when I say that C++ is the most badass programming language? Because you have broken the one rule of the craft, and that is to express that one language is better than another. It's the same rule that you have in martial arts, it's the same rule you have in practically anything that you can compete in, or where like there are differences of opinion on what really is the best or similar things. I like to go even further and say anytime you find yourself in a group of people who have a difference of opinion on what to do and how to do things, yet like they're intelligent enough to understand like their own perspective, but not so smart to understand that, well, this is just your opinion, and sure, you are correct under certain circumstances, and just leave it there. Just leave it at that. If you can, like, anytime you're not in a group of people like that, there's going to be some ache off the ass, and they're going to get upset with you. Because the problem is that, unfortunately, for a lot of software developers, their tools is something that they like, and the programming language is one of the biggest tools that they have. And quite a lot of people get very emotional and invested in their tool stack, and for some reason, don't ask me why, it becomes a personal thing. Because if you like something and somebody else doesn't like it, that's an attack on your value system now, isn't it? For some reason. And for a lot of people, it's hard to just kind of understand this very fundamental truth, and that is that there's no real answer to this. There's no way to determine which one of the languages or whatever it might be. Like, ask the question, what's the best color? Like, it's a pointless question. It's a pointless argument unless we have the only answer is always, okay, what are we doing? And what do we need to think about when we're doing that thing? And then make a decision based on those parameters. You have to set up some type of parameters for what you mean. And if you're just expressing, hey, I love this language, it's awesome, it's the best language ever, honest to God, I can't even understand the people who get into that conversation. I kind of just go, good for you, it's a really good language, awesome, and then I move on with my day. But for some reason, that is just not the case. And honestly, I think that is one of the... I'm not saying it's not a big issue per se. It's just so exhausting to have to deal with. It's not just at the language level for me. It's more about all the things that we're doing in software development, because there's this weird prestige going on between a lot of people. Everything from, oh, I like this way of working, or I like that way of working, and there becomes this weird strutting where some people are trying to one-up other people instead of just being humble and saying that, well, yeah, sure, we can just do it this way, or we can do it that way, it doesn't really matter. But some people, they clash with other developers over pointless, trivial bullshit. The most I still remember it to this day was when I was working with this what was it? It was a junior developer, and me and my other coworker, we were 3 people in the team. I was the, let's call it unofficial team lead. And he was a fairly new hire, and he had this pull request that he wanted to merge, and basically we asked him to do a few tweaks to the thing, because there was a few things that could be a little bit better, and that was no problem. And then he said, I'll do that in the next pull request. I will create a tiny pull request directly after this one so that you can review that in isolation, because it's not completely strictly in scope of the thing that I want to do right now. And so I go, well, no, yeah, don't bother. It's such a small thing, just do it. And then let's just merge this thing. And my coworker says, yeah, just merge it. And then he kicks up a fuss. No. And I go, okay, what do you mean, no? Just do it. No, because like best practice, like it's not in scope, and like and this is. He literally said the words. I will stand my ground on this thing. Because it's cognitively harder for you to read the pull request if I mix it with other things that may not be completely relevant to the scope declaration that I have set here. And it's get, and you know, and then I go, yeah, sure, like but I've already read it. I've already read, like it's already there. have already an understanding of what's going on, and we're still gonna squash it. So it doesn't matter if you do it in the next one, or you're just gonna add another pipeline run to the whole thing. Just do it. And then he starts fighting with me, and I'm like, yes, you're a brave motherfucker. Because I don't know, I usually try to just go with the flow when I'm a new hire, especially when, you know, I don't really have a good strong argument for what I'm saying. And like we got into this, like I'm not saying that we got into an argument, but he got super frustrated when we basically just said, okay, like do it. We are two people, let's just do the democracy thing. Two people who are both your seniors told you to do something when you're new at the job. Please, just do it. And finally he gave up. But there was there was no reason for this argument to exist in the first place. I mean, sure, we could have just said, yeah, you just do whatever you want. We could have done that. But instead of us just like understanding that there is no reason to have this confrontation, like if he had just understood that, okay, so the thing that he's trying to optimize for is something that the other developers don't care about, then what's the point of doing the optimization? Because we are the consumers of his optimization. We are the people who he wanted to, I don't know, make a better request for. And I'm like, we don't care. We've already checked it. But he had read about how to do things in the proper way. And there was, of course, a very definitively best way of doing it. So he started fighting over the whole thing. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the thing that you are triggering in people when you say that C++ is a badass is the best language or whatever, because some people just seem to be so attached to the idea that whatever they have learned as a software developer is the thing that is the right way. It's the one way. It is the thing we should be doing. And in my experience, it's very rarely the case that is the way things are. I like to promote this thought, if I may. My thought is very simple. Results. End results. That's the only thing that I care about. It's the only thing that you can win an argument, win me over in an argument. If I have a thought and you have a thought, look at the results. I don't care if you pick my solution or my thing, or if we pick your thing. As long as your thing produces some measurable or like relevant better end results than mine, then we will go with your thing. And let's do that vice versa. Can we just agree on that? Because that would be super awesome. And anything that doesn't measurably in some way make a difference, let's just agree that we like different stuff, okay? So what I want you to take away from this is that, pain off the ass happens usually not because you mentioned C++ in particular, it's because you're breaking the one rule. And the one rule is that you allow everybody who wants to walk around in a bubble where they think that whatever tools they learned first, usually, or whatever stack that they like extra much, that is the best thing. Like let them just believe that it's the perfect use case, because then they can write articles where, I don't know, they make a strong argument for that Python is really awesome, or Ruby is the best language ever objectively, or JavaScript is the best language ever, etc., etc. They can keep on doing these weird weird so-called knowledge sharing pieces, and let them. It's because it's really, at the end of the day, an emotional thing. And the only time you get any lip from people like this is when they can't detach and understand that the circumstances and what you're trying to achieve is the thing that dictates what a good solution looks like. Sometimes C++ is going to be the most badass programming language ever, depending on how you want to look at it. And another time it's going to be Ruby, or it's going to be Java, or whatever. And hopefully we can all arrive at this one single thing, because after all, we're supposed to be engineers. Let's just agree that if there's no really measurable benefit from between two things or a few things, let people just do what they want and make them feel comfortable. And if you actually can measure and you have a goal and you can see that one thing is actually proving to be a little bit better than the other thing, let go of the emotional part and just focus on getting good results. Okay, have a great day.